Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto Was the Otsutsuki King. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Push himself to his limit, and enjoy that guys. And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was from the two greatest clans. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto got his memories sealed away. So stay tuned for that as well, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you guys enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto was introduced to Ishiki Otsutsuki, hearing that he was Kaguya's brother. Naruto did not tell him that it was a way to revive her, as he knew that Ishiki would want to bring back his sister. As Ishiki told him that soon enough someone will come, that is a lot stronger than him. And Naruto knew that Ishiki is not going all out. So, Ishiki then fired off a blue beam. As it touched Naruto, Naruto got memories of images. There was a lot of them. Techniques and abilities. As Naruto was surprised by the magnitude of these abilities. Could one person really do this? This was the powers of gods. As Ishiki told him that he couldn't stay for too long. As he bade Naruto farewell and told him that he will be back soon. And with that he headed off. As Naruto arrived back, a week passed. At the hidden stone, Oniki was in his office. As the two guards at the gate were assaulted by Naruto. Well, it was a disguised form of White Zetsu, as the other White Zetsus planted explosive tags around the hospital and around several other places, as they were going to start out with the hospital first. Oniki came out of his office when he noticed a boy standing there waving at him, as Naruto introduced himself and told him that he's the Hokage's son, Minato, and he came here to finish up what his dad didn't finish off. Oniki was pissed as Naruto raised his hand, as he told Oniki that he has to know about the rumors going around that he destroyed the hidden stone by himself. So now he's here for the stone. As Naruto let the explosion went off, Oniki became royally pissed as he was about to incinerate him, but Naruto simply went down into the ground. Oniki knew that if he does this attack, it would just cause more damage. He quickly shut off his attack. As the hospital was in flames, hundreds of people died as many other explosions went around. As Naruto chuckled watching Oniki, an enraged Oniki and an enraged Kurosaki arrived to see her grandfather, as this was going to start war. Black Zetsu then waited for White Zetsu to emerge as everything was going towards plan. Time skip. At Konoha, Tsunade was pissed as she called Naruto, as Yujiro asked Naruto if something is wrong, as he saw how angry Tsunade was. Naruto had no idea what was going on as he heard the information that Tsunade told him. As Naruto figured that this was that black thing planning to get him kicked out of the village. But Naruto told Tsunade that he wasn't behind this, and he didn't do that. She had a hard time believing him, seeing that he destroyed the hidden stone, but why would he go after the stone? That was just plain right dumb. As Naruto went to the Hokage's monument, Black Zetsu emerged and told him that Konoha will not stick with him and engage in war. They will kick him out. And that is his fault because he told him to work with him to bring back Mother. But no, instead of that he turned against him. As a council meeting happened, as they were talking and they had to come to one conclusion to avoid war. Arriving there, they quickly told him that their decision that they came to about his banishment of the village, as they couldn't be forced to drag into war. But a part of Naruto really didn't care. Despite being here, he only had a few people who he really knew or talked to. And for most of them that treated and glaring at his sister, he hated them for that. He hated Konoha. Yes, a part of him hated this village. If it was not for his sister, he would have left this village a long time ago and bring her to a different place where she would be respected other than here. As he simply told Tsunade what about his sister, seeing that he's never going to leave without her. As Koharu kept on talking, ever since Naruto met face to face with this woman, she has been disrespecting his sister in some ways, calling her a thing and that. Naruto had the final straw. Seeing that they were going to banish him anyway, he turned towards her. Jiraiya, quickly knowing what he was doing, quickly went through hand sign. So yeah guys, that was basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. Naruto's eyes were merging into something as Koharu saw the veins pop up at the side of his face. Before anything could happen though, Naruto's eyes receded back, returning to his normal golden eyes. Naruto released a scream in pain as he felt something burning in his chest. His shirt was blown off of him as seals emerged from the 3 Toma seals. It seems like they were burning deep into his skin as they surrounded all of his body. Jiraiya slammed his hand on the ground as several black markings spread across around Naruto. Naruto was pulled down to the ground violently as he dropped on his knees, his hands going downwards, trapping him. Hayashi, said Tsunade. Hayashi stepped forward as he jammed Naruto all over his body. With some well-placed Jugen strike, Naruto felt his body paralyzed as he could only move his head. As Yujiro, she felt guilty because despite being a Konoha ninja, she wanted to stop this, she wanted to prevent this from happening, as Naruto was the one that were there for her when Hayate died. Looking at him now in this state, things really escalated too far. What did you do to me, Naruto said, as he looked up at Jiraiya. I kept you from doing something stupid. What are you thinking going after an elder like that? I warned her, Naruto said. The third placed a law that no one should speak about my sister and what she has inside of her. And this woman kept blatantly breaking that law over and over again. Koharu looked down at him. You have taken things too far this time, boy. Trying to kill an elder. You were banished before, but now things are only gonna get worse. Your sister won't escape this as well. As Naruto lowered his head. Meanwhile, outside, Sasuke and Mito and Ino, the 3 of them are walking. So where did he go? Asked Ino. He was taken to the Hokage's tower yet again. I don't know why, but Yujiro looks like she's rather worried, said Mito. I wonder what's going on. It's probably because of how powerful he is, said Sasuke. They probably want to do some kind of testing or something. Remember, if people find out about his power, things are gonna be bad. Well, that is what I was informed. So yeah, your brother is special in that way. You sound like you're looking up to him like a real mentor now, said Mito. What? Said Sasuke. Well, the way you speak of him, like he's your older brother. It's nothing like... Sasuke didn't stop. What the hell is that? He said. Mito and Ino turned as they looked over the Hokage's tower. As the place was bright and sunny, but dark, ominous clouds started to form. Mito gripped her chest as she didn't know why this feeling. What's wrong, Mito? Asked Ino. Something's wrong. Back in the tower, everyone felt that surge. Tsunade looked at Jiraiya with a worried look on her face. The black markings spread across Naruto's body slowly started to shake. As Naruto lifted up his head, you know, it's been years since these seals has been on me. My power always been restrained. Up to this point, not even I know the full extent of my power. You people banished me, and yet now you seal me up. Just tell me, Hokage, what are you planning to do? To hand me over to Hina Stone like this? What do you think will happen then? If they manage to kill me, what will you do? Just leave my sister out in the cold to fend for herself? You people are really heartless. Even after I told you I wasn't behind this. It seems it can't be helped though. And you. He turned to look at Jiraiya. Hayashi narrowed his eyes at the boy as he saw a twitch in the boy's arm. Hayashi looked over at the Hokage. Hokage-sama, he said. As Hayashi didn't understand, he paralyzed every part, so how was he moving? You were the one that applied the seals with the third. Do you really think? The ground then cracked under the weight, as the seals on the ground started to glow. As they were breaking, Anvu said Tsunade. The Anvus flashed around Naruto, but before they could apprehend him, a massive force was released from Naruto's body, blowing everything away from him. As the windows were burst open, Naruto's eyes flooded with an ominous light before the seals on his body started to burn away. It then happened. Naruto literally exploded in pure power. Outside, the people of the village were scared. This was even more ominous and dark than the Kyuubi's attack. Something was wrong. The cloud in the sky was behaving wild, as the dark clouds were booming with lightning. It was like a thunderstorm as everything was being blown away. People couldn't even stay on the streets. They were sent sailing. As Ino and Mito jumped up as they caught a few old people that were sent sailing away. Sasuke, not understanding, could this be his power, Sasuke said, as he watched the entire place going in hell. Mito then turned. Something's wrong, she said as she rushed towards the tower. A bright light exploded from the tower everywhere, as the bright light consumed the entire village, making everyone, the people of the village, even some ninjas, go down in fear. But Mito didn't feel fear, she felt her brother. As something was off, something set him off. Back at the tower, Jiraiya pushed himself up. Tsunade was shocked to what she saw. Shikaku picked himself up as well, as the two elders managed to regain their footing. No one noticed when Danzo literally slipped out rather easily. Everyone was just looking at Naruto, who was floating, looking down at all of them. Jiraiya's eyes wide because the Toma seals were no longer on him, all of them forcefully taken off. Naruto's body was just glowing with a bright shine of golden chakra. It was just swirling around him, but the thing that made them fear was his eyes. It was something they never saw before. Naruto's power being restricted, holding back so much of his power, held back his true eyes, something that even surpassed the Rinnegan by a long distance, something that will make this world see him as a god. Many of them didn't know what those eyes were, but the complex of it, and the design, and that ominous, unbreakable feeling, it felt like death was looking down at them, like he could strike them down at any moment. As Yuchio picked up herself, Naruto, she said, as she pulled off her mask, you need to calm down. Just look what you're doing. But Naruto paid her no mind, as he looked over at Koharu. Raising his hand in the air, the lightning outside started to behave even more wild, striking down on the village, destroying some parts. Rain started to pale the village down, as everyone couldn't believe in what they were seeing. He was literally controlling the weather. Someone then burst through the door, as she cried out his name. Naruto, Mito said, seeing her brother floating in mid-air, as she wondered what happened, seeing everyone on the ground, everything in disarray. As Yujiro called out for Naruto, you need to stop this. Look, Mito is here, she said. Putting his focus on Mito, Naruto realized what he was doing, as he could feel the overwhelming power surging through his body. His mysterious eyes for now then flip off, as it returned back to the golden color. As Sasuke and Ino came inside the room to see Naruto descending down to the ground. Tsunade and Anvus are looking at her. Tsunade waved her hand to stop them from doing anything. Seeing the situation was calming down, Jiraiya realized that all the seals were done for. Those seals were strong enough to hold back a tail beast. Well, not the Kyuubi, but he was a human. But the power Jiraiya just felt, it was beyond the Kyuubi. And that was just ridiculous, right? It felt even more dense and dangerous. Mito rushed over to her brother and hugged him. "You need to calm down," she said, wrapping her arms tight around him to hold him. "I don't know what happened, but please, just calm down," she said, as she started to cry, holding on to him tight. Seeing her cry, all of that overwhelming power flew back into Naruto. But with the seals broken, you could still feel that dense power behind it. "It's alright, Mito," Naruto said, as he looked around the council area. His eyes flashed towards Koharu once. The woman quickly looked away as she saw her death a moment ago, knowing not to speak against the redhead again or she would die. As Naruto realized something that moment, despite everything, Mito, she wanted to become Hokage, despite all the hatred she went through, younger. And taking that away from her would just be bad as an older brother. "Hokage," Naruto said. Tsunade looked at him. "I give up. I'll take my banishment." As the three kids were shocked. "What did you just say?" said Mito as she backed away from him, looking around the room. What do you mean by banishment?" As Ino stepped forward with tears in her eyes. "Yeah, what is she talking about?" Sasuke was also pissed as he couldn't believe what he just heard. "It seems like someone has been going around using my face to create all kind of heinous crimes against the Hidden Stone. And they've declared war against Konoha. But it's not you! Hokage! Why do you want to banish my brother?" asked Mito. "Why would you kick him out? You know that is not him." Tsunade didn't say anything. "It's alright, Mito." Naruto gave her a smile. "No, you can't go," she said, as he looked at her. "Well then, I guess you'll have to become Hokage quicker to re-invite me to the village, won't you?" No. After all you did, you guys can't just kick him out like this. Think, why would he do that when he know this is his place to stay? He will never do something like that, especially to put me in danger. You guys cannot banish him." "Mito, if I don't go, the enemies will come here and destroy the village that you want to protect. And you know as well I will never let them hurt you. And that will just cause even more problems. So it's for the best." "But you can't go," said Ino as she stepped forward as well. As Naruto gave her a smile. "Don't worry, guys. There isn't anything that would make me not come to see you." As Ino lunged onto him as well, the both girls started to cry. Naruto looked over at Sasuke. Still with that cold expression. "Don't you feel sad that I'm gonna go?" "What about my training?" Sasuke said. "You know what? Screw it. I'm coming with you." Naruto chuckled. "I suppose I can train you outside the village," he said, much to the elders' disagreement look on their faces. "But I'll have to deal with some things first. But as from now on, it seems like I am a banished ninja." Time skip. Naruto was currently standing at the gate. Mito already had tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe that this was happening. Despite her brother saying that there was nothing that can keep him out of the village, she still couldn't understand. The person that wasn't taking this well was Karin, as she wanted to leave. She didn't want to stay in this place if he wasn't here. But Naruto, knowing that he was going to deal with some dangerous things, he couldn't afford to get her in the way. As the both of them talk, as he managed to convince her to stay and stay with Mito. "I still can't believe this is happening," said Karin, as she looked at Naruto. Well, it seems like it's a reality," Naruto said. "But I already told you, Karin. And you too, Mito and Ino. There is nothing in this world that can stop me from visiting you guys." "But it's still unfair," said Mito as she stepped forward. "I know it is," Naruto said. "But don't worry. Once you become Hokage, you can just invite me back in. Despite everything, brother, that's gonna take a long time. You're gonna be missing for so long." Naruto leaned down as he whispered something in her ear. As she looked at him. "Really?" As he nodded. "Alright then," she said. as Jiraiya and Tsunade were standing a ways away. Stepping forward as Sasuke was there as well, along with Sakura. Shikamaru looked at Naruto as well, as he sighed. Troublesome, go on and get yourself banished. Despite everything, Naruto saw Shikamaru as a friend as well, because in the academy, he was, well, lazy but cool. Really is troublesome. Sakura was also angry at the fact that he got banished, seeing that he was the one who stuck up for her when she was younger, when the kids were making fun of her for her forehead, as he protect her and Ino. I'm gonna miss you, Naruto, she said. As Naruto simply gave her a nod, he looked over at Sasuke, acting like he didn't really care about the situation. As Naruto walked over, as Tsunade watched him whisper a few words to Sasuke, but his back was turned, so she couldn't read his lips. As Tsunade felt bad, seeing the interaction he's having with everyone now, it made her felt bad. The kid was powerful and strong, but the situation right now is too bleak, and he couldn't risk war. You better, Sasuke said after Naruto finished whispering to him. Naruto didn't pay Sasuke any attention. As he walked off, as he stopped right at the gate. Mito rushed up as she hugged him one last time as he hugged her back. Karin stepped forward as well as she hugged him, as Ino didn't want to be outmatched, and she was also feeling so bad she hugged him, as he simply hugged the three of them, as the rest of them just watched gloomy looks on their faces. I'll be back soon, Naruto said, much to Tsunade and Jiraiya disarray. Despite being banished, it didn't seem like he's gonna stay away from Konoha. Naruto then walked up to Tsunade and Jiraiya, as he looked at them with a firm look on his face. My sister is here. The only reason I'm not taking her with me is because of what I'm about to do. You know, if you go out there and cause more problem, that's just gonna put more trouble on your head. Don't worry, I'm gonna be taking care of the bad guy. I suppose I can pay Oniki a visit. Kid, do you understand that the stone has a literal army? Said Jiraiya, despite seeing Naruto's power, the sheer numbers of ninjas at the hidden stone. But Naruto didn't say anything, as he knew the power he showed off back then, it wasn't everything. With these seals off now, he could feel power on beyond what he sensed before running through his veins. Before I go, if anything happened to those girls, or especially Mito, especially her, I will come back here, and not even God will save you. Tsunade looked at him with narrow eyes. Despite the protest she wanted to make, she has witnessed what Naruto can do, and she believed if a war was to take place between him and the village, a lot of life would be lost, and that was wanting to be unavoided. Turning his back on the both of them, as the others said their goodbyes once more, calling out to him. As Naruto could see envoys all around, as they were also watching, and two pairs of eyes on him especially. As everything was just in case, and a little ways away, the two elders were there, along with Danzo and a few of the clan heads. As Naruto had some things packed in a scroll with him that was in his pouch, and some scrolls sealed in his arm. He's doing this for Mito, as he didn't want to crush her dream of becoming Hokage. But there is nothing on this godforsaken earth that can stop him from visiting her. With that, Naruto exploded into lightning and vanished. As Mito lowered her head, Karin quickly walked up to her and placed a hand on her shoulder. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna see him again. Time skip, a week later. Karin was currently sitting down with Mito at the table. Things had sure been not so lively around here. Despite not livening up the place, Naruto was still a big part of this. And Karin didn't want to stay here. It was just because of his last will asking her to stay with Mito to make sure she's okay. That is why she stayed behind. So, what do you want to do today? Asked Karin. Before my brother left, he told me that he's going to take me and train me away from the village for some years, along with Sasuke. But Jiraiya came to me recently and told me that he can train me into controlling the fox and use its power, and also train me on a 3-year training trip. What? Why would you go with him? He was a part of it in getting her to banish. I don't want my brother to be in trouble. If Naruto take me out to train, he's gonna focus his time on me to make sure I'm protected. Despite everything, I've heard that the stone is after him 100%. Stone ninjas are rootful because what happened in the 3rd Great Shinobi War, my father defeated them, a lot of them. And if anything's happened, Naruto will lose it. It's best if I go with Jiraiya. No heat is on me right now. And I don't want to put any more attraction to Naruto. Because you know how much he cares about me. Yeah, said Karen. And I don't want anything to push him over the edge. So that is why I think it's best if I go with Jiraiya. What about Sasuke though, Karen asks. Well, I don't think anything's gonna stop him from going with Naruto. He's seeing Naruto as a better teacher right now. But I just don't want my big brother to be in any more trouble. But he can surely come to visit. And we can see him out on the road. And I don't want him to hate this place. Despite everything, when I become Hokage, I will make sure that he gets his banishment is lifted and he return back to his village with full force. Because my brother is not a threat to this village. Because once I become Hokage, I would already have solved the world hatred and bring peace to this world. Quite a big dream. I wonder where Naruto is right now, thought Karen. Meanwhile, Naruto was currently standing, looking at the masked stranger in front of him. As this event just happened, flashback to earlier. Naruto was not in a rush to do anything, as the abilities that Ishiki gave him that was in his mind, he was currently going through them. Things that would make this world tremble under his name. As he will have to step up because Ishiki told him that people will be coming that's a lot stronger than him. It's been a good week now as Naruto has learned a lot. As a lot of these techniques come to him naturally, but some of them are more difficult. Some of them that will shock this world. As he was currently sitting down in a tree branch, when all of a sudden, a swirling vortex appeared. And out came this masked man with an orange mask. As Naruto paid him no mind, not even looking at him. The man stood there looking at Naruto for a few seconds, before finally speaking. "I am not impressed," he said. Naruto turned to look towards the man. "I thought there would be this overwhelming presence about you. I heard that you completely annihilated the hidden sound." "I know you," Naruto said. "That night, with Itachi." The masked man narrowed his eyes. "So that brat was you. Imagine if I had killed you back then. There would be a lot more people alive now. I heard that you caused mayhem in the Hidden Stone, and you were banished from the Hidden Leaf. What a bizarre event for you to do. Even claiming that Minato Namikaze was your father. You really have put a large target on your head, boy. What the hell do you want her to ask?" "I want you to join me, of course," the masked man said, as he looked at Naruto with a smile on his face. He currently has something going on with the 4th Mizukage. Currently, at the Hidden Mist, a civil war has been raging for a long time now. Haku and Zabuza were currently there. Haku had lied to Naruto back then, telling him that a new Mizukage has taken over, but that was not the case, as she couldn't tell him that they were on the rebel side. She didn't want to put him in jeopardy if he learned that information, but Naruto didn't really care about that, but she didn't know. But right now they were currently fighting under Mate Hirumi, as they were the rebellion side trying to face off against Yagura, but this doesn't look like it's gonna end anytime soon. Back to the masked man, he looked at Naruto, as he's gonna do that same genjutsu. He heard about this kid power, to have such a powerful ally on his side. That will make him get all the tail bills quicker than usual. And also, knowing that this boy's sister is one of them, he would never join him. Naruto jumped down from a tree branch. "Am I to assume that you're with the Akatsuki?" "Yes, I heard you learned about them. Before I do anything, I would like to ask, how do you know about them?" "Well, after killing the snake, I went through his mind." You're an odd one indeed. The way you speak to me, are you the true leader of the Akatsuki? I see no reason in indulging you." "Yes, my name is Madara Uchiha. And now, You will fall under my control, boy. Moving his mask aside, there was a Sharingan in his other eye as he spun wildly at Naruto. The masked man got a grin on his face when Naruto slumped down a bit. Now come, he said, as he started to walk off. But Naruto did not move. Naruto looked at his hands. I said come, the masked man said. Suddenly the masked man had turned his body intangible as a sword passed right through him. He was beyond shock as he looked at the ground where Naruto was standing to see it broken apart. The kid moved off with so much speed that he exploded the ground underneath him. As it's just because of his long time of doing this and used to his ability that he was able to make that phase right through him. Naruto stopped. How is this possible? The masked man said, looking at him. Naruto looked at him confused. I passed right through you. I wonder. As Naruto's eyes switched into his Rinnegan, the masked man was taken aback by that. Seeing those eyes. What are those? He asked. Seeing no reason to use his other eyes that he just obtained, Naruto scanned the man's body. Oh, I see now, he said. Naruto dashed forward as the masked man sent his arm towards the dimension that he was in. But Naruto swiped his sword upwards. The masked man's eyes became wide when Naruto's sword, the top half, vanished. He had to jump back in pure utter pain. As his arm, nothing was there. As his eyes were wide under his mask. How? The kid entered his dimension. So that is what you do. Sending your body to a different dimension. Quite smart. But that won't work on me. It seems I can enter all these dimensions. And you're one. It's not that hard to get into. Naruto raised his hand, but the masked man quickly sucked himself away in a swirling vortex. He appeared a far distance away as he dropped on the ground. As he couldn't believe what just happened. In all of his years, no one, except for one man, has hit him. That was Minato Namikaze, but this boy. He literally ripped through space-time and came into his dimension. The masked man was stunned as he couldn't believe what just literally happened. Naruto simply huffed, not paying it any attention. Soon enough, he will eradicate all of these Akatsuki members. But just give it time. A brown bird was watching the entire scene as the bird flew off. The bird then came and landed on Renji's hand. He was Kabuto's subordinate as Renji went off. Arriving into a dim, dark hallway, Renji stepped inside to see his current master right now, Kabuto, who was taking charge. Currently, in the next corner of the room was his teammates. They were writhing in pain and agony, as Kabuto just applied the curse mark to them to give them a boost in their power, as he wanted to test Naruto by sending them after him. He knew that Naruto will slaughter them, but they have some special skills that can probably weaken him. And also, not to mention, he had Gurren. Gurren was still alive, along with a cage, Jugo. As he told Jugo that the one responsible for Kimimari's death was nearby, and soon he will let him have him. Time skip. Have you located the boy? Said Danzo. In front of him was currently Toru, one of his rude operatives. Yes, Danzo-sama. We have been keeping a check on him since he left Konoha. He has not noticed our presence yet. What is your orders? Just keep watching him for now. I will set for the plan soon. Despite him being banished, he is still a property of Konoha, which I will use. If that boy is strong enough to destroy the Hidden Stone, I will use him to destroy the Hidden Stone and weaken the other villages, all of their military power, and make Konoha remain on top no matter what. But for now, just keep on watching him, Danzo said. Later that day, Mito was currently eating at the table, as Sasuke was there along with Karin. As Sasuke noticed ever since Naruto got banished, Mito hasn't been talking up that much. It must be really hard on her. A small part of him also missed Naruto, despite everything. He was a good friend to him. And what they did was just wrong. Sasuke knew that Mito wanted to go with Naruto to train, but she knew that Naruto is a lot overprotective over her. So when Jiraiya came to her with the offer to train her, she didn't want her brother to be placed under any more trouble if something was happening to her out there. So she decided to go with Jiraiya. She already made up her mind, as she was sure that Jiraiya could protect her from any one of these ninjas. Well, things hadn't gone out yet about her. It was just about her brother. "You okay?" Sasuke asks. Mito looked up at him as she gave him a fake smile. "Oh, I'm fine." "You're not fine. We've known each other for a lot of years now, and I can tell when you're lying." "Oh, yeah, I guess so," she said. "Well, it's just hard to not see him. He's usually there every time I wake up. So it's just hard not to see him there. And it feels very sad." "Yeah, I guess you're right. The place is a lot different with him not around here," said Karen. "Well then, that should just make you work even harder and force that white-hair pervert to teach you everything he knows, so you can push past the ranks and become the Hokage to get him back in the village. You know, you're right. Once I become Hokage, everything will be fine, because I'll make sure he returns from this banishment, and the entire nation will be united by that time, because that is my goal. Once everything is peaceful, my brother, don't have to worry about me so much." As she looked over at Sasuke, "You're gonna go with him, right?" "Yes. We're gonna be leaving very soon," he told me. "What does the elders and the Hokage think of this?" "Well, they don't know," said Sasuke. "I'm sure they're gonna be pissed when they find out. But I don't really care," he said. "It's not like I'm gonna learn a lot here anyway. Even you are leaving the village, Mito, to get training from a Sanin. I guess you're right." Meanwhile, Naruto was resting back on a tree as he was just looking up in the sky. He has been watched and followed a lot today. Envoys from Konoha. These ones are different though. They have been watching him for some time now. And also, there was a bird. He could sense chakra formulating from the bird. Someone has been sent that bird to watch him over and over. But he didn't really care, because the way Naruto felt right now, it was just unbelievable. He wanted to go home and see his sister, and be there for Karin and Ino as well. And even see Sasuke. Despite not liking the village, there were still people there that he knew. But these things that he's been learning, he was going to leave the village anyway sometime to train and learn them fully, because these things are just too dangerous, and he don't really understand. If Ishiki told him that these powers are going to need it a lot, how strong is this person who he's going to face off against? And that is one person he didn't want Mito to go anywhere near, because he know people like that will use Mito against him to get the upper hand. And Naruto could feel it. Despite everything, Mito was tied to his emotions. If anything were to happen to her, he would slip. He would slip and lose himself. And that kind of darkness, it would be the one that pushed this world over the edge. He spoke to Yujiro a couple days ago, as she told him that Mito was fine. Despite everything, he still needed to check up on his sister to make sure she's doing okay. And Yujiro told him that she was with Ino, Sasuke, and Karin. He will finish this soon, and to take care of all the enemies. And soon enough you'll have to go and see that old man as well, to let him know that he doesn't want to war with him, because he will take the hidden stone by himself. But for right now, you can come out, Naruto said. The moment he said that, missiles smashed into the tree that he was on, as Naruto landed gently on the ground. Suddenly, the ground exploded as a strange, gooey substance covered the entire ground, trapping his foot into it. Naruto looked down without paying it any mind. Looking back up, he saw smoke start to fill the entire area, as smoke filled the entire place. Suddenly, Renji and his group stepped out. A man in a strange blue bodysuit. Another shorter man with strange missile launchers on his hand. And another one that gas mask. I think we got him, the short one said. Well, that was pretty The one with the gas mask couldn't even finish that sentence, as his head was split open, his lifeless body dropping to the ground at thud. The short one tried to run, but her feet connected into his face. His head smashed to the ground with so much violent force that it exploded under the weight. Renji quickly jumped away as he released several kunais and shurikens. The kunais with explosive tags on them destroyed the entire area. Renji then felt something tear right through his chest. It was small, a small tiny white light. Another tear right through his chest. Renji's eyes then went wide as he coughed up blood out of his nose and his mouth. The thing literally cut, the string connecting to his heart, forcing the blood up. The one in the blue bodysuit was now scared as hell, as they couldn't see the person. Looking around, you should really know who you're attacking. His eyes went wide before white flames consumed his body, as he could literally shed it off of him. The gooey substance started to be released, but the white flames were not leaving him. He started to cry out in pain and agony as the white flames started to incinerate his entire body. Meanwhile, Gurren, who was a few distance away, couldn't believe what he just saw. He completely erased all of them in a matter of seconds. What was this kid? She remembered what happened, as she remembered that this boy was the one that killed Orochimaru-sama. Despite wanting to revenge Orochimaru, she was scared. Because she knows she died here, Yukimaru will be placed out by himself, and she couldn't allow that. He was still a young child. She couldn't just leave him out like that. But this boy killed Orochimaru-sama. A crystal spike came on her arm. I saw you in his memories. Gurren quickly jumped away as she landed a distance away, as she saw Naruto's back resting on the tree branch. You were the one who he was most afraid of to go AWOL, because of your attachment to that boy Yukimaru. Gurren's eyes went wide. I read this snake mind. Gurren, was it? Ability to use crystal. An impressive technique. I wonder, Naruto said, as he held out his hand. Gurren was taken aback when a golden crystal formed in his hand. He then smashed it. Not my style though, he said as he threw away the particles. What are you, Gurren asked. You just wanted to protect that boy for killing his mother. Gurren was even more surprised. You know about that, she said, as that was her biggest regret. Killing Yukimaru's mother, and now seeing the boy's face every day, it made her want to protect him. Naruto didn't look up. I will not let you hurt Gurren. Gozu came down with a fist. Naruto brought up his hand as Gozu's fist connected with it. Gozu was shocked as it felt like he was hitting steel. He then noticed the boy's arm turn a metallic black. Naruto drove his other fist into Gozu's gut. Gozu was sent sailing away, as Naruto's two arms returned back to normal. Gurren looked at him. She wanted to attack, but this feeling. If you don't want to die, I suggest you run. You're the only one I don't feel like killing. Despite your bad actions, you will protect Yukimaru their life, because you love him. You see him as a younger brother, and I don't want to rip that away from you. So, run. Gurren was taken aback, as she couldn't believe what she heard. But she couldn't run. Kabuto. He had Yukimaru. As Naruto turned towards her. Why are you still here? He asked. I have to fight you, she said. And why is that? You're right. Yukimaru is precious to me. I can't doubt your skills, because after what I've seen you've done today, I feel like if I go up against you, I will die. But Yukimaru is currently being held hostage, so I can't run away. I have to fight you. Even if I die, at least I will die protecting Yukimaru. But Naruto turned around, his back turned to her. So they finally came, he said. Gurren spread out her senses as she sensed it as well. As her eyes went wide, she felt a numerous amount of ninjas coming their way. What the hell is going on, she thought. As Naruto stood there unfazed or unmoving, as Gorin could feel a lot of killing intent roaming through the area. But Naruto seemed unfazed by all of it. After a good few seconds they came. All of them landed surrounding them. It was stone ninjas Gorin saw from their headband. All of them sending murderous glares over towards Naruto. I thought you would have found me sooner, Naruto said. The commander of this small platoon stepped forward. Because despite the amount of ninjas the stone had, this was small compared to that. The man had an X in his forehead, as he looked at Naruto with a hateful look in his eyes. Meanwhile, distance away the masked man, as he was looking at his new, white arm, as he had a furious look on his face as he couldn't believe what happened. How did the boy have the power to literally cut right through his dimension? The power that this boy has. This was going to be a problem. The plan will be messed up if this boy turned his sights on the Akatsuki, seeing what he already know. As he knew that Minato had a daughter. She was the one that Ninetales was currently inside of now. He cursed. Things just got a whole lot difficult. But guys, I'm ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.